Plastic is an excellent resource, but poses a threat to Earth. Plastic is the main contributor to landfill. Plastic harms the marine ecosystems and food chains the most. We can make a change if we reduce our amount of plastic consumption.
Today, August and I will be talking about a very common resource. Plastic, what we think of, is named for a variety of substances made from polymers. Polymers are long chains of molecules that are chemically bonded together. Types of polymers are polystyrene, polyamide, polycarbonate, and ABS.
We will talk about some environmental impacts. In Australia, the use of bottled water releases over 60,000 tons of greenhouse gases. Plastic is made of fossil fuels, a non-renewable resource which is slowly destroying the ozone layer.
The plastic thrown in the ocean can affect the marine food chain, specifically of a seagull. The crab might mistake the mussel for plastic, and then the population will decrease and the seagull can't eat. Or the crab might suffocate because of plastic, and then the seagull eats the crab along with the plastic and then also dies.
An alternative to plastic would be nanocarbons. Nanocarbons have been used before for golf balls, bowling balls, and waterproof cotton balls. Nanocarbons are cheap and do not emit pollution. The American Bird Conservancy could install nettings on oil pits. It would reduce impact by reducing the amount of plastic on land before it hits the seas.
With the production of nanocarbons, you can reduce the death rate of sea animals and birds as they don't emit pollutions. The netting in oil pits would cover them and reduce the death rates of bird food chain because they won't get trapped because of the nettings over the oil pits.
Sometimes when people have nowhere else to put their trash, they burn it. Not just people, but even companies. They burn it with a large incinerator. And when they burn it, they release chemicals and toxins which we can inhale and make us sick. These chemicals and toxins are also threats to global warming. All of the plastic we produce and consume can decrease all of the oil humans have.
Charles Moore took a sample of zooplankton water and found out that 6 times more plastic scraps than zooplankton are there. 80% of consumed plastic bottles ends up elsewhere and pollutes someone else's land or property. Making products from recycled material takes 50% less energy than from starting from scratch.
In the Delta of Niger, the benefits of mining for other Western countries cause conflict due to extraction from the wealthier countries. This causes conflict because the Nigerians don't get any benefit from the extractors. For developing countries, oil can be very good because oil is a valuable resource and is a necessity to the process of making plastic. But oil can be bad because it easily causes conflict because, again, it is very
People can cooperate if we don't extract from third world countries. People will resolve conflict because everyone gets a benefit because no one will lose the resources and there will be no one to extract resources from the third world countries.
We could use nanocarbons to replace plastic. We shouldn't be doing open oil pits. Like I said before, we should be using nets to cover it. We should all invest in public water infrastructure so there's clean water for everyone. Finally, we can bring back filtered drinking fountains instead of bottled water at school.
I know that we can help the environment by using the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. But our main point and recommendation is to reduce our consumption of plastic products. Like we said before, it's better to stop consumption on land before it even gets to the ocean.
Did you know that all of the oil we use to make plastic water bottles is enough to fuel up 1 million cars? We all know that the US has the most different types of bottled water, like Fiji, Dasani, etc. And they all claim that their water comes from rivers or waterfalls. But guess what? 1/3 of all of those bottles are actually tap water.
You can see in this graph, it shows how much the world regions used plastic in 2001. This also shows the total amount of money spent was 30 billion and that North America spent a total of 11 billion, being the top consumer. We should lessen or stop the consumption of plastic and make a transition to a more sustainable material in replacement to plastic.
As you can see on my graph, a lot of different solid waste go to landfill. The most is paper, with 20.7% going to landfill. 16.7% is plastic that goes to landfill. It does not seem like a large amount, but according to my graph, it is unfortunately the 3rd largest contributor.
These are our 4 sources. Most of them are for Comfite,
and some are from Google Images Advanced Search. Our sources and citations were Brain Pop, Charles Moore Sailing the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, Blue Mountain City Council, Recycling Service, American Bird Conservancy's Wind Energy Policy, The Story of Bottled Water from the Story of Stuff, Africa's Resource Challenge on the Niger Delta, and the Library Think West.